Welcome back to Etc. Podcast. I'm your host, Victor Long, my co-host, Mark. How you doing, sir, on this
what's
fine, dandy
going on?
Thursday morning?
Yes, I mean, after yesterday and that crazy rain, yeah, I'm doing
Yesterday,
great.
last 3 days, damn near.
Well, yeah, I mean, yesterday I felt like was the worst. Like, it really had random spurts of just like crazy
Hail and shit.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, what's going on? Not to mention that rain also made a leak in my closet, and I was like,
What?
yo, it's not crazy. It's like a little tiny leak, but like it was funny because I was heading out yesterday. Had to go somewhere for church for a meeting, and next thing you know it, I'm like trying to figure out what kind of jacket to wear because obviously it's raining, and I'm just like, there's no light in my closet, so I'm just kind of like looking. I obviously can see what's there, but it's just not like crazy like bright. So I'm just kind of feeling. Next thing you know it, I'm like feeling on one of my jackets, and I'm just like, why is my hand wet? I was literally like, yo, like, I'm like, is this just me? Like, I started thinking a little bit like 5 seconds ago, like, did I touch something that like was wet or something? I'm like, no, I didn't touch a single thing. I didn't wash my hands. I'm like, why is my hand wet? So next thing you know it, I just started feeling it more. And I'm like, bro, it's like kind of soaked. Like, what's going on? So then I grabbed my phone and I'm like, yo, I look up, I'm like, yo, is there a leak in my closet, bro? Turn the light on my phone. There's like this little bubble that's just there. And I'm like, bro, this is annoying.
Damn.
So, but apparently, like, it's been there for a little bit since when my mom like rented it out for tenants. So, yeah, it's been known kind of. So, yeah, just got to get that figured out.
I might want to patch that up before.
Yeah. But I mean, luckily the rain obviously isn't going on anymore, so it should be stopping for a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah,
is that the jacket we got at the thrift?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. I thought I recognized it somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rain's done. I remember being at, like, I was at work yesterday and people were like getting ready to head out like early, and they were just like, should I go? Like, it says it's gonna clear up in 10 minutes. 10 minutes go by, I just went harder. He was like, all right, I'm gonna stay. Actually, no, they were just like, I'm just gonna go for it. Fuck it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna stay here any longer.
It wasn't that bad when I left work, because I left work around maybe like 4:30. It wasn't that bad. It was like kind of light, and I was just like, yeah, it's not that bad. It seemed like, because it's like literally like about 30 minutes before, or like an hour ago, that joint was coming down, and then it came down again later, and I was just like, bro, what's going on with this rain?
Yeah, it's just annoying, but it's past now. Hopefully, at some point, it actually starts to feel like spring. We in April now.
April showers.
You know what I mean? The saying,
don't bring the Mayflower sometimes. It's gonna be doing
it is what it is. Okay, I'm trying to remember when the fuck. I was trying to remember when I included that in the video. But yeah, we're back for another episode. A lot is going on in the world. We talked about it on the way here. We got Kendrick calling out half the world. Well, not even half the world, just two other people. But the rest of the world wants to include themselves.
Wants to be involved. They felt left out. The FOMO hit them like crazy.
Yeah, which I don't even think he said anything that wild to begin with.
No,
like,
yeah.
He's literally just being himself. Like, for the longest time, Kendrick has always been like, I'm never gonna be buddy with y'all ever. Like, it's me. It's always gonna be me. Like, it's me against y'all.
Like,
I'm competing. Like, this is a business. I'm the best at this shit. Fuck y'all.
Yeah, like, from a business standpoint, like, that's how I feel like he is. Like, of course he got like nothing against y'all. You know? Like, there's nothing like I feel like said anything like, oh yeah, I just don't like you. Like, it's not that. It's just like, when it comes to a business, like, it's competition.
He's competitive. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just let y'all think like we're on the same level. Like, there's obviously different levels. Like, we can't just act like there isn't. So yeah, it makes sense why he would just have to say that, just to like put it out there, you know.
And then, I mean, it all sparked just because Drake and J. Cole was the first person shooter mode when he was just like, oh, like the big three or whatever. And he's like, nah, I'm not rocking with any of that.
Something that also gets me confused too when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably asked, but like, I feel like when we want to mention the big three, right? I just feel like, just have every single one of y'all on the song. Like, I know it could probably be a little difficult, but I'm just like, it gets a little weird to me when it's be like two of y'all and y'all be like, oh yeah, it's the big three. Yeah. And I'm just like, why don't you got this man just on here probably doing some ad-libs or something?
He just probably just didn't want to, or two, he's just kind of addressing, because he's done it like a lot. At least J. Cole in like a couple songs recently where he's just like,
J. Cole, you're saying has said this?
Just things along those lines where just like everybody's trying to say who's number one, who got the crown, and he'll just be like, yeah, like, it's the three of us are like the best. Like, we're leading the way for like our generation of like when we came out. Like, it don't gotta be who's the best. Like, I could be your personal best. Somebody else can think that the other person's their personal best, but it don't got to be like that. He's more just on the calm, like I'm in my own lane, on my own speed, on my own time. I'm not really paying attention to what y'all doing, because he mentioned that too before in the past, where he's like, I know how good I am, and I know I've also been not living up to that because I'm not doing like the putting myself out there type shit. Like there was a point in time where like he's not on that type time. Like there was a good, before he went on a feature run like a couple years ago where he was being on everybody's song, killing it. Prior to that, he's like, yeah, like I know I've always just been like, oh, like no features, like I'm just staying to myself, and like it worked, it went well. But he's also like, I know that there's also a negative of that where like since I'm not putting myself out there, I'm not getting the same level of respect.
Yeah,
which led him to do that for a little bit, and then now he's just kind of like, yo, like we're all great. But Kendrick's like, fuck all that. I'm great. Fuck y'all.
It's kind of on his Kanye time.
And I don't even think it's anything personal, like, because everybody's just cool. But like Kendrick's never really, when has he ever seen really anybody be buddy with Kendrick like that? Ever.
Nah, yeah.
Like he's just like, I'll drop my music. If we do a feature, we'll do a feature.
I'm trying to think like as far as like songs that he's dropped or even like albums, like who have I seen the most as far as like featured on there? I can't really.
And even then like
a constant.
I think you could think of some rappers and think like who they're friends with, like beyond music, and like I can't think of one for Kendrick.
That's what I was
like
saying.
Drake and Future, Drake and J. Cole now, Chance the Rapper. And,
I was probably gonna say Drake and also like 21 Savage. I feel like they were like.
And that was J. Cole and 21 Savage more so.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking of though when I was.
But like before that, it was probably Drake and 21. They had the album together too.
Maybe Kodak. Because
Kodak
on his last album, he had that man on that, John.
Yeah, but like it was, they still wasn't. I didn't even see them on camera together.
You're right. I'm just saying it was just, to me, was a very random choice of like a rapper to be putting as like kind of like the person who's gonna lead in that sense.
Yeah. You'll think of like Tyler and A$AP Rocky.
Yeah,
you think of like Schoolboy Q, and used to be Mac Miller when he was still around. They were super tight. Vince Staples kind of cool with everybody for the most part. He is, but he isn't.
Watch you say this in next
I'm
telling you, we speak.
But he don't care. He just got his show coming with Chance the Rapper and Childish Gambino used to be like a thing.
Yeah.
They used to go together. Like there's a lot of artists that just like you could tell they cool beyond the music shit. With Kendrick, I don't really get that. He's just always been on that fuck you type shit, which is cool. Because he like, we are not gonna act like he didn't drop Control all those years ago and like blew and like dropped everybody unprovoked. That was different.
Now he won it. He won the violence.
Like it was just Big Sean was just dropping a regular song with a calm little beat, and Kendrick was like, fuck you, like name dropping. That's the shit I was talking about when I was talking about, like, because I was telling him on the way here where I got kind of frustrated. It was like everybody's talking about like a diss. He just kind of like, let's set the record straight. Like, I'm not buddy with you. We're not friends. Like, this is competition.
Yeah.
And everybody's taking it like he's just saying, like, I hate y'all. Like, I don't think it's anything like that. Plus, it's all just marketing. But I was telling Mark, I was like, until it's on some type time where it's like some Tupac shit where it's like, that's why I fucked your bitch. Like, that shit, I'm not going to call it as beef. And Control was a great example of that, where he was just like, he said all that shit, like, I'm the shit. He didn't even talk shit. He's just like, yo, I'm better than all of you, or I'm trying to be better than all of you guys. And he mentioned the guys that like aren't a part of this generation. He's like, all respect to y'all. This ain't about y'all.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the guys that are out right now. I'm trying to be better than them. It's not buddy shit. He set that tone a long time ago, and people forget. But also, there's a lot of people on the internet that like just discovered hip hop like a couple years ago.
True. I mean, for the most part, they know people like like Drake, obviously.
Yeah, like
the mainstream ones. Like, I'm not.
That baffles my mind.
Yeah, and I don't want to say it, but like, the people who are obviously, like I said,
white people.
Yeah. So then they start to
say it.
So then they start to think though. But what I was gonna say is that they start to think like people like Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, like this is hip hop. Awesome. It's like, bro, stop. It's like this is the least of it.
And then there's also the majority in this country, so their voice is like it populates more than like other people's would. So it seems like that's the general like that's the average opinion. But for people who's really like, we have been a part of like paying attention to rap and hip hop and all that shit since birth, like way back, and even prior generation thanks to our parents. So it's like the thought of meeting I've met people who'd be like, yeah, I haven't listened to hip hop until I was like 20 something.
Yeah, it's kind of like crazy.
But then they have these bold ass statements where it's just like, yeah, Travis Scott's the best person to ever grab a mic. It's like, he's cool, but like we're not
a certain type of music.
Yeah, but like we're not gonna act here and like.
Yeah. I'm not going to put
I'm a bump birds in the trap sing McKnight. I'm not going to act like it's not hard.
Yeah.
But like, let's relax a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not putting him on the front line.
Yeah.
I ain't talking about him.
He's not the big three.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though he want to be.
Yeah, he want to be.
And Big Sean too. He want to be about this shit so bad.
You know, they're literally the second line defense. I would.
Yeah, and also like he's a little bit after that. I feel like.
Okay.
Like he didn't come around the same time as like Drake.
No,
J. Cole.
yeah,
he's like that next. He's like that Travis Scott, Lil Uzi, like 2015s ish, like 2010s type shit.
I would say that. Yeah, I feel like that's when he got like big.
Yeah, because all the other guys.
Would you put? I mean, yeah.
I think Chance is also in that gap.
I was gonna say like Frank Ocean.
Nah, Frank Ocean was like.
I would say obviously Tyler.
Yeah, Frank Ocean was part of Our Future with Tyler, and that was like before all that stuff. That was like still we were in middle school.
Yeah.
But they didn't get. But they've been along for so long since they were doing it since they were teenagers that they didn't get like major prevalence until the 2010s.
Yeah.
But like we were in like 6th, 7th grade listening to like Odd Future Volume 2 tape.
Yeah.
And like thinking about you, it's like 6th, 7th grade.
A potato.
Yeah, so like they've been around for that long, but like Tyler didn't get a song on the radio till like 2016. Yeah. And that was like 7 or 8 years into his career. So like those guys, like I guess you can group them into that same like group. And even now, like he's kind of on the forefront. And then like early 2000s, you obviously think like Kanye's and like all those guys that were popping around that time.
Yeah.
It's just like
commander.
Yeah, it's like eras though, but he's not a part of that same groupage I would put as like Drake, J. Cole, whatever.
No, definitely not. He kind of was like the whole. And I don't even want to say this, but you know the whole phrase like Kanye walked so that like
absolutely, yeah.
You know, like I don't want to put him in there just because like he's done a really big amount and he's still in a sense trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I feel like that is kind of what he did. You know, a lot of people got a lot from inspiration from him. So
absolutely. And then you think about like 90s is like Pac, Big, M, Nas, Jay-Z, like all those. Like it's like obviously they overlap. It's almost like sports as well because you think about it. Because like even like a LeBron, like he's been around for like Kobe, and now he's like all the way up to now to like Curry and like everything in between. Like he's been around for so long. A lot of other players have played around for so long,
which is like crazy to think because you just like you don't notice it, but when obviously you watch it for so long, you're just like, oh yeah, like it's whatever.
But if you want to talk about like who's the best of like eras, like you can put it to like where like Kobe dominated like 2000 to 2010, and then LeBron took over like 2010 to like this time. Then Curry had having his time right now, kind of in between like 2015 to now. Mm-hmm. So it's always going to be overlap, but you can kind of tell from which era, like who peaked at what times and shit like that. So yeah, it's just weird shit. Now it's too obvious. This shit is just like marketing. Yeah, like it's too fabricated. Like I told you, it's like WWE.
Yeah,
because you mentioned that article thing.
Yeah, and it's just to me, it's just how you know a lot of it's marketing is when like there isn't really anything building up to it.
Yeah,
it just comes out so randomly. And you're just like. What?
Yeah. A lot of time, and it fizzles out so easily.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like time passes and they're just like, whatever. Yeah.
And especially when you hear something like that, where you hear, how would I say it? Like, obviously, this whole thing with like Kendrick doing this whole thing about the big three. And then it ends up going to where you start seeing like pages start trying to find any little thing detail to like spice it up even more. Like the John I was telling you about how, like Drake is like beefing with these people. And you're just like, why did y'all bring this up now? Like it just made no sense to bring it up. Like
it's just clicks and articles.
Like we were stuck on the whole big three thing. Now you're trying to be like, oh, now Drake
it's really it's a multiverse.
Yeah, you're like, okay, like what? So it's like it's more so like, oh, and I get it because I'm like thinking to myself, if I was working at that company, I feel like
they're trying to capitalize on the moment.
Yeah, they're trying to find more stuff to like keep bringing awareness to it rather than just be like, oh, Kendrick just said this thing. All right, cool. Let's just hope something else.
But like, let's keep some validity to it. Like, let's keep it legitimate. But yeah, and like what Marcus talking about is like there was like an article posted by somebody talking about like everybody that Drake's beefing with, and it was just like Rick Ross, like Future, fucking Lil Wayne, even though he's on tour with him right now, and like all these other people. It's like where y'all pulling this out of? Like, and then I saw something that was like, oh yeah, the reason Future and Drake were beefing is because of this very random like Instagram model that they both were talking to or some shit, and it's just like. You really think, I mean, maybe they do, but like, do you really think it'd be that deep to an extent? Like, they've both been rappers for mad long, and like, they've probably all slept with the same people. Like, they just cycle through people all the time. I'm not saying it's right, but like, this is at a point where like, You think about like the Amber Roses and like all those other people that like jump from athlete
I'm
or
not gonna
star
lie.
to whatever, like Drea Mitchell or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, I never looked up really like Amber Rose. Like I know she was with Wiz Khalifa, right?
That was like the most prevalent because they had a kid together. But she's been like she's appeared with like many people, whether or not they're actually sleeping together or not.
No, like
I don't know, but like they'll pop out together holding hands and like it'll be a thing.
Yeah, but like for me, it's like I've never paid attention to her. But like I think I saw a post about
Kanye.
Her. Was what?
She was with Kanye.
When?
Like when he was doing like 808s and Heartbreaks. Remember he was like licking her bald head.
Oh, that's what it was. There was a post about her because it was bringing up that idea that she like basically, I think, used a wax model of her naked in that whole like, I don't know what album it was with Kanye, but it was something where she was like a part of it, like working with him with that, and she like was basically saying how she didn't get paid for any of that or anything like that, and she was just bringing that up again. I don't know why the heck she's even.
It's just throwing themselves
now.
into the mix. Yeah.
So I don't know why she's talking about this now, but I remember like the first picture of it obviously was just like a picture of her, and I didn't even realize she had like a whole tattoo on her head, and I was just
that was recent.
Okay, yeah. So that's how
not recent, but like past couple years.
I'm like, bro, I get it. You got nothing else up there, but like, why you gotta fill it in? like I'm just like, bro, come on, like you. It just made no sense to me.
And she was with 21 Savage for a little bit.
I think I remember that.
He was going to like the Pride phrase and shit, and like the not horror. I'm sorry. It was no, but it's something like that. It was just like basically like a sex positivity thing for women.
Why'd you say horror then?
Because it has one of those type names. Like it was just like a walk of like it's like reclaiming the word.
Okay.
Like it was like the thought walk or some shit like that. Like I know I'm thinking like the wrong word, but there was something out there that was like a sex positive thing for women that they all marched and shit. That's why I said that. I just couldn't remember the right name.
Okay.
And that's what came out. But yeah, she's like, it's like people like that. Like they've all, it sounds bad to say, but they've all hopped around with the same circle of women because they're all in Hollywood and like, I don't know. It just seems like that's how it works. So yeah, I don't get it. Another thing in like music and kind of music, but it's just involves artists in general. Like, do you see this whole thing with Tyler Creator and Jared Carmichael? I'm gonna assume no.
No.
Yeah. So, do you know who Jared Carmichael is?
I don't think
a comedian / actor. He hosted.
He was a comedian.
He hosted. I don't think it was the Oscar. He hosted some award show, but I'm forgetting which one exactly recently. And like he did a good job and everything. He's cool. I've seen some of his stand up on like TikTok and stuff.
Is he an older guy?
No.
No. Okay.
He's probably like
just trying to rule that out.
Probably like 30s, like early 30s or something, or like late 20s.
Okay.
I'm assuming. But he's been cool with Tyler Creator for like a minute. Like they've worked together a bunch of times. Couple out, like I believe it was Flower Boy. They did like a whole like 2-hour long interview just talking about the album in general, and like they've always been like working alongside each other in some capacity in the past. Apparently, fucking Jared Carmichael on like a personal level, like private, he came out to Tyler and was like, yo, like I'm bi or gay. I'm not too sure what exactly, but he basically confessed his feelings to Tyler in a private setting. And Tyler was like, yo, like being Tyler, being a troll, he's like, yo, like stop being a fucking dickhead. Like he was trying to play it off. Like, yo, I think he said, like, yo, he's like, stop being a fucking bitch. Just being Tyler. Kind of like shrugging it off because he like didn't want anything to do with it, kind of, because they're friends, and he was kind of like, yo, like I like you more than a friend, and I guess feeling uncomfortable, he's like, yo, like stop being stupid, like trying to shrug it off, like stop playing.
Okay.
So that happened on a private setting, at least from what I understand. Jared Carmichael now has a show, I think with Netflix or somebody or HBO, like just his own show, and he like sat Tyler down with cameras on and like brought this back up to him and like basically reiterated the conversation again, like with people watching and everything.
Okay.
And everybody's kind of I don't know who, like it's a mixed feeling kind of on both sides, because Tyler's listening to all this, he's like bringing it up again, and Tyler, he asked him like, oh, like Jared Carmichael was like, you didn't really say anything when this happened. Like you kind of like you heard it and then you just like let it go and let it die. Like you didn't really address it.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyler was like, what did I say? Like they're recalling. He's like, yeah, you called me a fucking bitch. And then like Tyler laughed at it. He's like, yeah, I did. And then he brought it up again, and they're just kind of discussing everything. And Tyler's like clearly uncomfortable and trying to like make light of the situation because he doesn't like him that way.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't want to like ruin a friendship, it seems like, but also like
I would just say it straight up. I'm like, bro, if you really want to know, I don't like it that way.
But that's what happened in this situation. But people are kind of conflicted because in this situation, he like Jerrod Carmichael's clearly like irritated and hurt.
Okay.
And Tyler's like being the Tyler that we've known all our fucking lives, being a jokester about it. And people are kind of just debating like about the situation.
Wrong,
Not even, I guess, but also like, you know,
who's the
there's just like conversation around this situation because yes, like, you know, Jerrod Carmichael, if he likes somebody, you can tell them that you like them, but also like they don't have to say that they like you back. 1, 2, he already told you once. Why are you bringing this up again on camera for something that's going to air out for a show?
That's what I'm saying.
Is this for more marketing shit? Is this genuine? But also you're kind of cornering somebody about a very personal subject that should be private.
Yeah.
And on the flip side, people are like, oh, like Tyler's reaction was kind of immature, which is true, but like also it's Tyler the fucking creator.
Yeah.
You know what's up.
It's like, this is how I see it from what you're explaining. Like the first time he did that, you know, like, dang, like the way he responded to you, that sucks. Like you probably wanted an answer. You didn't get what you were looking for. Cool. Maybe you still want it, but don't do that on camera and stuff like that. You could have just brought it up at
phone
any
call,
other point in
anything.
time. Yeah, like that.
A dinner.
Yeah, that to me, he probably, I ain't going to that. But no, that to me would have been. Oh my
God, I'm glad you said that. Keep going.
Yeah, that to me would have been more like appropriate to do. But then to try to bring it up in front of people on the camera, I'm just like, that's just so whack. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So in this situation, right, he's having this conversation with him. I'm like, that. I'm going off of what you said about like, yo, I'm cool off dinner.
Yeah.
Jerrod Carmichael's talking to him, and then I guess mid conversation, because it's going on for a while. I guess before they started filming, Tyler ordered food, and his phone. He's like, "Oh shit, my food here." So he gets the food. They're both eating, and they're still having this conversation. He's just like fucking it up. Like he's just like, you could tell he's listening, but also like, I'm fucking up this food right now.
I'm cracking up.
And at a point, they kind of stop eating. He puts his food to the side, and then Tyler's like, "Yo, like you're not really eating your food." He's like, "I'm cool. Like I'm done." Jerrod Carmichael says, "Like I'm done with the food," and he like Jerrod offers it to Tyler. He's like, "Nah, like I'm straight on that." And I was like, "Why would you say that?" I was like, "You're so out of pocket for that." The wording on that, yeah. And I was like, "I know that was on purpose."
Right.
And I was like, "I want to laugh, but that's fucked up."
Straight,
but
on that,
he was like, I'm good, I'm really good on that. He's like, I'm straight on that. I was like, bro, you're really like burying this into the ground right now.
He realized, he was like, what word can I say right here to make it feel
like that was
I'm straight on that.
Terrible. But
yeah, I just, like I said, that just to me is very like, that's why I'm like, I'm more on Tyler's side. But it's just like, that's where I could feel for Tyler the frustration though. Like if you see some, it's not even this specific conversation, it's a lot of stuff. Like when you bring stuff back up, but you felt like to yourself like it might have been resolved, or just like, I don't know, sometimes it can be aggravating, you know, to have to bring something back up again. It depends, because depending on what it is, one other side could still be right if you feel like, oh, like the other person just didn't give me kind of what I wanted and it was very just didn't get solved. So that makes sense. But for in this context, like to bring it in front of cameras, that's where it's like, okay, I would be frustrated.
Yeah, this isn't cool.
Something back up, like, why are we still talking about this on camera? It could be something literally like, and that's where you got to be like, yo, like on some serious stuff, like I want to talk to you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like say that beforehand so he knows. Like you just talking about it just makes it seem like clearly you're being a little bit immature about it. So.
But now you're just like cornering him, and like you're having proof of it too, like.
So
yeah, like,
and you know,
and now you can't overreact because you're just like, oh, I have evidence if you overreact.
You know what I thought of when you started bringing this up? Because you mentioned how you like had him on camera and everything. Like I literally thought of the Key and Peele job with the
when they're he kept saying he's like, oh, it's like all homosexual people, and it just pans to the same guy. He tries to put his arm around the girl. The girl's like.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, pointed at the guy next to him. And then the guy ended up putting his arm around the girl and they started kissing. Oh, no. Bro.
But yeah, he just kind of like, I guess it was kind of like fucked up to kind of corner him in that way.
Yeah.
And then people also mentioned just the fact is like, all right, maybe he wouldn't have had that reaction if you didn't put him on camera. Like, if you just, like you said, sat him down and be like, hey, can we actually like talk this out a little bit? Because even if it's not the result you want, you can at least preserve the friendship, being like, hey, like, you know, True. I appreciate you for communicating this with me. I don't feel the same way. Can we still, you know, be friends, or is this something that's kind of like fuck everything up, which is unfortunate. But like once you bring cameras into it, now you're just kind of now he's like, all right, now you're gonna corner me and do this shit. I'm gonna make it a fucking joke.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it. It's tough. It's a tough situation to be in. But also, like, these guys are like in their 30s. Like, why would you corner him? Like, and then also his reaction too. Part of me would have just been like, "Yo, can we just cut the cameras before we talk about this?" Like,
yeah.
But nah, he's just like, "Yeah, I want this on my show." But then it's like, is this legitimate? Is this for what's happening now? Like, for us to talk about it? How real is it? We'll never know. But
hey, we'll hear something. We'll hear something soon.
It was just so uncomfortable. But then I was also watching and I was like, damn, like I've been Tyler before though. Like I've done that to somebody and like not to that degree. I wasn't like, yo, like my food here, like, oh, I'm straight on that type shit. But I've been in situations where just like I've gotten like pulled to the side to have that conversation and I've kind of had to like joke it off kind of because I feel uncomfortable. Like it's just like my it's like way of dealing with it.
Stop. No, like I like you.
I've never done that.
It's like, bro.
But I'm just like,
this joke is crazy.
Yeah, like maybe it's just me, but it's just like that. Sometimes that awkward, like those hard conversations, like, all right, I need to make this a little bit easier on myself, so I'm gonna make light of it somewhat, which isn't like the best thing to do because you're dealing with somebody's emotions. But yeah, it's not easy. I just did not expect that at all, and it's just like that's not the way to go ever. And then you also like filming your rejection. Which also is not great either.
But then again, that other person probably thought ahead of time. Was like, hey, it's like a win-win situation. As far as my feelings, like they probably won't be that great. But hey, we got this on tape, and now I can get some money off of it. So
I guess it was just this is a weird thing because like,
yeah.
But then it's like, all right, cool. You didn't get the right answer the first time, or the answer you wanted, but that should still be your answer. Like if you,
that's what I would have thought.
Like if somebody, like if you went to somebody, or somebody came to you was like, "Yo, like I like you," and you don't like them, and you just kind of like, "All right, like I'm not." You don't give a direct no, but you kind of just like laugh it off.
Yeah, like ha.
That means that's a no.
Like ha.
Because if somebody that you liked told them that they liked you, you'd be like, "Yeah, like I like you too." Like you would take that serious. You wouldn't play around with somebody you genuinely have feelings for.
No, exactly.
So why didn't they just take that as a no?
Exactly. Just more so like, yeah, like you're right. I'm not ready for you. That is crazy. You had a dream about it. That's crazy. Yeah. That's what's up. But like, that exactly it doesn't happen again.
That's what I'm saying. So otherwise, if that's something that you wanted, you would have been like, yo, like, let's expand upon that. Let's talk about this. Let's make it a thing. So I just don't.
I felt like that was me. Wow. Now that I'm like,
that's what I'm saying.
All I had to do was add a camera to it. Yeah, and that would have been me. Like
that's what I'm saying. Right. So like you get like you kind of see where he's coming from in a sense where it's like, what do you do in that situation? You also want to be respectful, especially when it's a friend or somebody that you have past experience. You don't want to be rude about it.
Exactly. Wow. It's so glad this came up in my head.
Exactly.
This is like, wow. Okay, now I can actually relate a little bit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious though. Yeah, it's very awkward because you're just like, bro, like. We're cool.
I'm trying to find a way to let you down easy.
Yeah, but
while also like because I like you as a person, but like you're kind of making this hard right now by like beating this.
You're being out of pocket.
Beating a dead horse here. So, nah, music game getting weird. I think the internet and like television, mostly the internet, just like makes this we know too much at this point. Like we have too much access to these people, which kind of like removes the star power part of it. Like we didn't see these people on like IG Live and shit or like TikTok Live all the time and like be able to they respond to our tweets and we see them be so personal as like or interviews. Maybe this wouldn't happen as much, but now it's like we know everything. We can kind of see through it. Like Metro Boomin getting hacked. It's like, bro, like there's other ways around this now. For you to say your Twitter got hacked and you were promoting your album by the person that hacked your account was promoting your album for a week. Yeah. And all of a sudden you come back and like, oh, my bad. Even though you could have like easily posted on another platform and been like, yo, my shit got hacked. So it's like, it's kind of bullshit. You also have like teams of people handling all this stuff. So like, let's be for real here. It's just all this internet shit. It's like WWE fabricated beef or like Kardashian shit where like literal, like the Kardashian situations where for the show is like, all right, these are actual sisters. Like they see each other often and they still go on social media to like bash each other and talk shit if they are beefing. It's like, yo, you know it's for the show. You know it's for like clicks and like conversation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you just call me or like you know where I live.
Yeah.
That's
you
my
literally
thing.
Or my neighbor.
Yeah, like we're gonna see mom on Saturday. Like, what are you talking about? That's what I'm saying. Like, if I were famous and I genuinely had beef with somebody, I would just like get their number or see them or talk to them or whatever it may be. If it's for marketing purposes, clearly I'm gonna be like, oh guys, look, like fuck that guy, and he's like, oh fuck you, and it's like, oh, we're gonna have a rap beef or whatever, or we're gonna go box in a boxing ring or some shit like Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. That man, that's a whole different conversation for another different day. But yeah, I mean, we're almost out of time here, so we could get up out of here in a sec. Mark, where can they find you or anything you want to say before we dip out?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, nothing much really. I mean, we talked about a lot, everybody. This rap kind of world we're living in is very like Vic said, fabricated. Seems like a reality show, really. You know, I think that's just kind of where things are moving at. People are getting tired of thinking of lyrics, so you know they got to find their business somewhere else. But yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed. You can find me on Instagram, etc. Marky Mark, Twitter, and Marky Mark as well. Victor, where can they find you and etc. at?
Find me everywhere at etc. Victor. Etc. Stuff is at real etc. Emails real.etc@gmail.com. We love you guys. Appreciate you for listening. See you guys on Thursday and catch you for the next one. Bye.